What are the best surfaces, decals, and net lanes available in 2025? I'm going to share my 36 favorite asset packs. If you're like me, you might struggle to keep up with the non-stop stream of amazing mods being created by the Cities Skylines 2 community. I've searched through all of PDX mods to find the best surfaces, decals, and net lanes for detailing. I've narrowed it down to my 36 favorites for now, which I'll share in no particular order. I'm sure there will be many more in the upcoming months and years. My name is College Builder. By day, I work as a college dean, and by night, I play Cities Skylines 2. Give me your honest grade for this episode in the comments, an A through F, to let me know if it was helpful. Welcome to Marathon Cove, my Southern California-inspired series. This is episode 20. To place any surfaces, decals, or net lanes, we will need a few mods. If you are new to these, start by going to Paradox Mods and select Browse and then Search. You will need to install the Extra Suite by Triton Supreme, including the Extra Lib, which is the dependency library required for the other extra-related mods, the Extra Asset Importer, which allows you to import custom surfaces, decals, and net lanes, and Extra Detailing Tools, which provides access to the standard surfaces, decals, and net lanes. To properly use these tools, make sure you also have the Unified Icon Library, Anarchy, the Better Bulldozer mod, the Move It mod, the Asset Icon Library, and Find It. Together, this collection will unlock the power of surface, decal, and net lane detailing tools. Click on Extra Assets from the bottom navigation to access the new menu. Surfaces let you draw textures directly onto the ground or roads. Decals are like stickers that come in specific shapes and sizes and can be placed on the ground and some assets. A net lane is a network, much like a road or path, but traffic does not move along it. Instead, they are used for decorative purposes like road markings or fences. Together, these three additions provide a very powerful set of detailing tools. Make sure you've installed the Better Bulldozer mod so you can go back and delete these details if needed. That's the overview, so we can now turn to my favorite 36 surfaces, decals, and net lanes for 2025. Let's start by heading back to our vineyards and wine region in the San Carlos Hills. In episode 13, we built the Scenic Byway to give locals and visitors a convenient route through Southern California's wine country. How can we improve this beautiful intersection where the Scenic Byway meets the arterial? First, we need to fix it. It's a bit off in terms of lane math, but we can easily upgrade the outer section to a 3-lane asymmetrical road. But the intersection is still pretty busy and complicated, so it wouldn't be surprising to see some extra lane markings to help alert drivers and guide them around the traffic island. We're going to use my first favorite asset, the default in-game net lanes, which come with the extra detailing tools. Let's go with a simple North American highway edge line so we can draw in some continuous traffic lines. By surrounding the island, we immediately draw attention to the unusual changes happening here. With the Move It mod, we can manipulate nodes in net lanes, just like this one, to get the exact shape we want. Using Better Bulldozer, we can delete a segment and redraw it if we're not happy with how it looks. But this pattern is still pretty unusual, and maybe it's a good idea to keep oncoming traffic separated before the left turn. With the Road Builder mod by TDW, we can edit this road segment by adding an empty lane right in the middle. We're going to remove the default road markings so we can add our own. Let's also upgrade the turning lane and the 4-lane avenue to get rid of some of their markings. This will give us more flexibility. Using the Move It mod, we'll stretch out the nodes, but unfortunately, that can cause some hidden rocks and trees to pop up. Let's talk about my second favorite asset today, the Color Surfaces Pack by Elgendo87. It offers lots of colors and options, which makes it pretty versatile. For our traffic island, I've chosen the dark red shade. It helps create a caution zone so drivers notice the island and adjust their driving accordingly. Interestingly, I used the same color surfaces pack to make the red star on my massive Paris-inspired roundabout. I've only got one gripe here, and that's the yield triangles showing up over our red caution surface. They disappear if we block left turns, since the merge lane to the right has its own dedicated lane. We can get around this with a little trick using the traffic mod. See that? We remove the solid line and leave only the dashed, which means it's considered an unsafe turn. Only emergency vehicles, service vehicles, or cars engaged in risky maneuvers will use it. On the plus side, the yield markings are gone. Number 3 on my favorites list today is the road marking stripes and chevrons, also by Elgendo 87. These are essential, and we will frequently use them to transform our roads. Let's select a yellow striped surface from the pack to fill in the empty lane between oncoming traffic. This will help alert drivers to the complicated intersection. From the default extra detailing tools, let's take a yellow double line and draw around this middle caution area. We are doing what we can to keep the traffic separated, avoid head-on collisions, and keep our citizens safe. Don't forget, we can tweak a surface after placing it to get it just the way we want. This intersection has already been transformed, but we can make it a little bit better. Let's use another surface from Elgendo 87's Road Markings pack. This time, we'll add white lines to divide traffic moving in the same direction. These lines help people be more cautious when traffic from different directions converges. We should also incorporate some net lanes from extra detailing to replace the lines we removed with our custom road. The double yellow lines separate oncoming traffic, while the dashed white lines divide lanes heading in the same direction. Let's keep using our striped surfaces to fill in the gaps on the road and guide traffic. We'll use a solid white line to border the surface and make it look finished. Next, we'll add a point near the traffic island to catch drivers' attention. Finally, let's add some wildflowers and bushes to the open grassy space. Our surfaces and net lanes have really changed this small intersection, and we are just beginning to explore what's possible. For example, we can use these tools to improve highway interchanges, like the one leading to our scenic byway. The white surfaces and net lanes help define open spaces between lanes and guide safe turns. Buffer zones near crosswalks can ensure cars turn wider and stay clear of pedestrians. But there are even more options. For example, Elgendo 87's Road Markings pack includes chevron decals and net lanes. On this highway exit ramp, let's draw out a chevron net lane to guide traffic as it diverges. So, as you can see, the net lane is wider than the space we actually need to fill. To fix that, we're going to use item number 4 from my list of favorite packs, the Vanilla Asphalt set, also by Elgendo 87. First, we'll pick a net lane version that matches the asphalt and covers over the road markings. Then we'll use a small decal version to get really close and hide those tiny white lines showing where we don't want them. We'll also draw in some striped yellow lines to keep oncoming traffic separated on our Parklow exit and entrance ramps. Overall, this highway interchange is looking awesome, but we can add even more detailed touches to take it to the next level. Creating a unique crosswalk will make our intersection stand out. One of the top items on my list, number 5, is Elgendo 87's German-inspired surfaces. I especially love this German-style sidewalk from the pack, and luckily, it also covers the crosswalk lines. Pack number 6 on my favorite list is the Edges and Borders Net Lane pack by Crypto Gamer Skylines. There are so many options here, but let's use Edges Sidewalk number 3 to give the brick sidewalk a stone-like border. Now, let's do the same thing for the sidewalk on the other side of the intersection. For even more subtle details, let's add some road wear and tire marks from Sully's Tire Mark Decal pack, which is number 7 on my list. It looks like a bunch of industrial trucks are taking the scenic route, maybe heading to and from the vineyards. As they pass through the intersection, they've probably left some tire marks behind. We'll put in a few drain covers from the Tree Grates and Covers pack by Crypto Gamer Skylines, using item number 8 on my list. Because this is such a busy intersection, we can assume it's a bit worn down. Number 9 on my favorites list is Sully's Asphalt Patches. It's a big collection and comes in both dark and light shades. When we scatter these around, it adds a whole new dimension, making it look like the intersection has aged and been repaired over time. My only problem is trying not to overdo it. Sully has a second pack for road wear, his Cracks and Damage Decal pack, which is number 10 on my list. Unlike patches, these cracks and potholes look fresh or untreated. Many could really damage your car. Some are obvious, while others are subtle or only noticeable when you zoom in, but all of them tell a story about your roads. When it comes to detailing your streets, item 11 on my list is the Road Repair Decal Pack from Elgendo 87. These decals come in various shapes and colors, different from Sully's. Elgendo also includes some repaired cracks and joints in the road, which add a new level of realism. Using surfaces, decals, and Netlanes really changes how the game looks and feels. The cool part is that even small touches here or there can make a big difference in customizing your city, especially if you don't want to be a heavy detailer. And keep in mind, these 11 packs are just the beginning. Let's talk about our rural areas, like the countryside and farms. Item number 12 on my list, the Dirty Roads pack from Elgendo 87. This set of Netlanes is fantastic for upgrading the dirt roads from the base game and adding a more unique touch. Just a quick tip, while you're placing your Netlanes, some hidden rocks and trees might suddenly pop up. You can easily hide them by using the Show Marker toggle in the menu. I really prefer the rough edges over the straight lines of the base game dirt roads. They blend into the surrounding much better that way. The pack offers tons of options, each with a matching decal to help you create smooth transition points. For this one, I think we should pull the houses back a bit from the road so the dirt doesn't overlap onto their lawns. Elgendo offers a variety of textures, making it easy to try out different gravel or dirt options. Let's upgrade the road leading to the vineyard from the complicated intersection. We can start by changing this normal city street into a custom alley, which helps create a smooth transition from paved roads to dirt. The Netlanes can follow the curves of our road all the way to the end. We just need to use our matching decal to create seamless transition points and fill in any gaps in the curves. The dirt roads give off such a charming country vibe, but have you checked out our scenic byway? That dark green median looks way too perfect. Too pristine. Number 13 on my favorites list is the Terrain Surfaces pack by gagaXm. It's got some fantastic grass, ground, and flower textures that are perfect if you want your build to feel more rural and a bit wild. Like other surfaces, we will need to draw them out, following along the median and being careful not to drag them into the road. gagaXm offers so many options. Really, we could use almost any of them to make our median look much more natural. The dark green color just reminds me of a lawn. By switching to a new surface, we quickly turned an already special road into something that's visually appealing and fits well with our country context. Let's add a custom bridge piece, changing the grass median to a more appropriate concrete one as it goes over the creek. You might have noticed that the scenic byway gets a lot of local traffic, with residents and vineyards all around, and it leads straight into the town of Verano. Sometimes it can even get pretty backed up. One way to help with this could be to add dedicated left turn lanes at some key intersections. The Road Builder mod will give us everything we need. Let's go ahead and remove the grass surface from our new turn lane. With the traffic mod, we can ensure everything connects properly. Now, let's bring in some asset packs we've already used before. We'll add road markings from Elgendo's Road Markings pack to alert drivers about the turn. Then, we'll create a custom brick crosswalk using the German-inspired surface pack. Finally, we'll edge the crosswalk with Netlane borders from Crypto Gamer. This new turn lane looks really good. It combines our different asset packs and keeps the rural feel of the area while also helping with traffic. We can add another dedicated left turn lane heading into the small rural neighborhood. We'll follow the same steps, removing some grass and adding road markings. For this third area, we'll make a double turn lane, one side for the commercial buildings and the other for residential. Let's also fix the grass area in the middle between them. Adding dedicated turning lanes not only makes the road look better, but it's also super practical. It really helps keep traffic moving smoothly on busy roads. Let's switch gears from country roads and try something totally different. In rural areas, you'll often find drainage ditches designed to move water and prevent flooding. We'll carve out a subtle ditch that fits perfectly into the landscape. Elgindo 87 has a water outlet prop that's just right for this. We'll add an extra node and use the retaining wall on this short segment. We'll place the water outlet flush against the wall on both sides of the road. To show where the water flows through the ditch, we'll add the water drain decal from Elgindo. Also, item 14 on my favorites list is the Streams and Ditches pack, again by Elgindo 87. These net lane assets come in different colors and widths, giving you plenty of room for creativity. At our busy three-way intersection, let's add a retaining wall, along with the water outlet prop and decal, so we can bring our ditch right into it. Maybe there's some runoff from the vineyards that flows down into the valley below. Let's keep our water-filled ditch going along the scenic byway until it finally empties into the creek. Sometimes net lanes can be a bit tricky on slopes, but with enough tweaking, you can usually make them work. Let's go back to our retaining wall segment. By adjusting the nodes, we can get the pipe sitting right in the middle. Upgrading the very end makes for a smooth transition segment. Next, let's add some boulders around the outlets to give it a more natural vibe. Since we're in a hilly, rocky area, it's kind of fitting that the rocks are part of the design. And at our busy intersection, I think the boulders and rocks look just perfect. Now it's time to talk about asset pack number 15 on today's list, the amazing riverbed surfaces from Sully. I've been using these all over the region because they come in different mixes of dirt and grass, and you can layer them for a more natural look. When you combine them just right, they make areas like ditches look really authentic, just as if water was naturally flowing through it. By the way, if you're finding these tips helpful or inspiring, please give the video a like. If you're trying to recreate this look, start with the darkest shade, Sully's Wet Riverbed Dark. Then we will layer on top the thick riverbed surface, which has a little bit of grass, and finally add the thin layer with even more grass. This approach helps your surfaces seamlessly blend into the terrain. The San Carlos Scenic Byway looks fantastic right now, but we should think about adding a way for folks to cross over to the other side. Maybe we could put in a crosswalk using the same brick German surface for a consistent look, and line it with stone edges. Lastly, we could add some caution stripes between the lanes to boost safety. Crosswalks and lane stripes are all good and dandy, but this local collector road has gotten way too busy for those houses right along it. I'm guessing these homes were built long before the street became such a busy thoroughfare. One thing that might help make traffic a bit more manageable is if the houses sat a little further back from the road. With the Move It mod, we can just drag each house back as far as it can go. And the cool part, it automatically extends their sidewalks and driveways to keep them connected. For a country road, this setback feels a bit more realistic. When they were right up against the road, it seemed more urban. The cool part is that this new gap between the road and the lots opens up some opportunities for us. Let's go ahead and design a more typical sidewalk that runs between the houses and the street. We'll use asset pack number 16 from our list, the Road Textures Surface Pack by Generic Lemons. It has several realistic concrete surfaces, including a sidewalk texture that we'll use for this project. We'll just extend the sidewalk with a suitable width crossing over the driveways. For most of the driveways, the sidewalk naturally goes underneath, creating a seamless look that you'd expect. Let's make sure the sidewalk runs all the way down these blocks and up to our dirt country road. Looking back, this little neighborhood already feels so much better. but the sidewalk isn't quite functional yet. Right now, it's just a surface. To make it truly useful, we need to use an invisible pedestrian path. The tricky part is this path will break the connection between each driveway and the main road. You'll see a no connection icon. To fix this, we'll also need an invisible road pathway, and then manually reconnect each driveway, one house at a time. When you're drawing this out, make sure to drag the invisible road back far enough so everything connects smoothly. Once you do that, the notification icon will disappear. After you've connected the house, you can have some fun with surfaces. Just open the surface tool, then click and drag the existing highway or sidewalk down to meet the road. It'll look like the sidewalk naturally runs through the lots. On the bright side, since the houses are set further back from the road, the sidewalk adds a little buffer zone. This way, pedestrians don't have to walk on the shoulder and we keep our nice country vibe. The downside is, doing this for every house can be pretty time-consuming. Not something I do all the time. But it's good to know it's an option when it makes sense or when I have the patience. The other fun thing is that we could swap out these paving surfaces if we wanted to. Some of the default options look more like tiles, but considering the country vibe of this area, I wonder if that's really the best fit. If we had the time, we could definitely switch them to something more appropriate. Here we see our first car pulling in and following the invisible road path we built. It looks like everything is functioning properly and pedestrians are using the sidewalk. I love it when everything goes as planned. Today, we're talking about surfaces, decals, and net lanes, but let's pause for a moment to focus on the details of vegetation. We've lowered the small wildflowers and made them look dead using the tree controller mod. This makes it seem like weeds and grass are starting to grow in the countryside area. Also, let's take one of Algindo's vanilla asphalt decals in a worn version. This will help make the transition from the scenic byway to the dirt road feel more natural. We can complete the update to our scenic byway by adding some wild bushes and flowers to the median, ensuring they appear randomly scattered and not overly maintained. This should be part of the arid Southern California shrubland. Let's also scatter some wild plants along our drainage ditch. We might want more here eventually, but this is enough for now. So far, this has already been transformative. Homework assignment: tell me what else you would change in this area. Let's see what our asset packs can do to improve the San Carlos vineyards. Some of you mentioned in the comments that my grapevine rows change direction too frequently. Overall, I agree with the feedback, but I think not all the rows should run the same direction. From my experience at vineyards and looking at Google Earth, it's common to see rows go in different directions. But I admit I went overboard. Let's fix this by removing all the rows we've added. This also gives us a chance to make other improvements. To start, we can use one of Algindo's Netlane dirt roads to create divisions through the fields. These internal roads will assist machines and workers in navigating between rows of vines. It won't be perfect, but we can come much closer to what it should be. Next, let's remove a few fence sections where the dirt roads intersect, and then redraw small fence sections in the right places. To create the best possible canvas, we'll remove some decorative trees and make a few adjustments to the field to enhance its overall shape. Item number 17 on my favorites list is the incredible farming surface and decal pack, originally by Haristus and published by Broman10. This set is perfect for transforming the surfaces of your farms, and we can use it here on our vineyard. When choosing, I recommend trying a few options to see what catches your eye. For our vineyard, let's pick a greenish surface to help us see the rows more clearly. I'm not sure if it's the perfect choice, but for now, it'll do. We'll fill each part of our farm surface with this texture, keeping in mind that the pattern's direction shifts as we move around it. This helps us plan the directions of our vines. Just like in episode 13, we'll use one of the small wild bushes. Using the advanced line tool and with anarchy enabled, we'll draw our rows. This time, we'll be careful not to change the vine's direction too quickly, aiming to keep their flow simple and consistent based on our internal dirt roads. I recently picked up a new trick. I start by drawing a guide to keep the spacing consistent. We'll set the guide about 6 meters apart. Once that's in place, we can easily draw the longer rows, and having the guide will really speed things up. I really appreciate us taking the time to make these changes. Adding Algendo's dirt net lanes really makes the vineyard look more realistic. Let's add a few more roads where we can and then finish up the vines. This process has gone much faster than before, and the new surface really enhances the look of the vineyard. Next, we'll add the trees that border the driveway entrance, and we can replace the damaged surface in the guest parking lot. This time, let's use a fun one from Generic Lemon's texture pack. The finishing touch for this area will be some additional grass surfaces from the gagaXm terrain textures, including the little yellow flowers, which are among my absolute favorites. This vineyard looks a lot different from the one that was here before. The new textures and divided fields make it look much more realistic, capturing the vibe I was aiming for from the start. When we zoom out, you can really see how different the new vineyards are compared to the old ones. Let's keep going and start updating the other vineyards now. One of my favorite things about surfaces, decals, and net lanes is that they let you customize the style and story of an area. With the Cities Skylines 2 base game, you mainly focus on function and using data to build a city that works. But with these mods, you can go beyond just function and data to create something truly unique. For example, we're taking the French restaurant from the Leisure Venues Content Creator Pack and changing the colors of the nearby farm building and mansion so they all look a part of a single vineyard. We'll remove the extra props so they don't appear as 3 separate assets, then add our own hedge using the net lane from the extra detailing tools. This will be our own 3-star Michelin restaurant that feels exclusive, the kind of place where you make your reservation 3 or 4 months ahead, like French Laundry in Napa Valley. Now we just need to use a custom surface. Let's remove the old paved parking lot and add a brick surface from pack number 18 on our list, the French-inspired surfaces by Algendo 87. We'll remove some of the old decals we used the first time and add the brick surface across each asset. Since this is an upscale vineyard and restaurant, it shouldn't look worn down. Let's also use the surface to create a path between the farm building and the restaurant, and then replace the paved parking at the mansion where the owners live. Bringing these buildings together with shared surfaces helps tell the story of this small corner of our countryside. It is rural yet upscale and a destination for tourists who love exceptional wine. The custom style helps to unify them. French elegance meets our Southern California vineyards. Let's try something different by using asset pack number 19 from our list, the Water Mirror Surfaces CS2 style by Algendo. His water pack offers many options, but I love this blue mirror surface that resembles in-game water and even reflects sunlight. We will use it to create a small retaining pond, likely for the vineyards to manage water runoff. I removed one of the farms here to make space for it and have built a new farm around it. To finish the pond, we'll surround it with various layers from Sully's riverbed surfaces. Unlike our fancy French restaurant, this vineyard feels more simple and rough. Maybe it's a vineyard that still offers wine tastings, but it doesn't feel so exclusive. We have here 2 distinct vineyards, each with a completely different style while using simple techniques. The Google Earth images enable us to imagine many possibilities, including the various shades of the fields with their underlying surfaces. I particularly like the image featuring a tennis court nestled among rows of grapevines. Let's attempt to create that vibe here with number 20 on my list of favorites, Sully's Tennis Courts Decal Pack. I love the idea that some wealthy winemaker lives out among the vineyards while casually playing tennis in their free time. While this decal isn't functional, it certainly helps with the aesthetics. Also, remember to place the net lane from the props using Find It. We're adding one more upgrade to our wine country, introducing the Oasis Kitchen from the Leisure Venue Content Creator Pack. It's a really beautiful asset, and honestly, I'd completely forgotten about it until Biffa recently reminded me. Think of this big restaurant, kind of like the Culinary Institute in Napa Valley. And with that, I think the updates to the San Carlos wineries are complete. Our surfaces, decals, and net lanes have transformed them. If you caught my latest episode on building that intermodal facility, you probably saw me randomly layering down dirt and stain decals. But before we get carried away, let's take a step back and think about how to do this kind of detailing more thoughtfully. In this one little corner, we will remove the decals and start back with the basics. We place the plain pavement surface from extra detailing tools. Next, let's use the asphalt road cover surface from the Japanese road markings pack by Crypto Gamer, item number 21 on my favorites list. This realistic surface will subtly cover your roads and make them look worn compared to the vanilla textures. After all, this is a dirty port, so we want it to feel gritty. We should then design entrances for the industrial buildings in the cargo harbor. The base gray surface will cover most other surfaces, so let's pull it back to create driveways. Item 22 on my favorites list is the More Concrete Pack from Ogendo 87. This concrete surface number 13 looks very realistic, but there are so many beautiful options we could choose. For our next driveway, let's turn to item 23 on my favorites list, the Real Vision Decals by StatikNoize. For a long time, these were only available through Sully's Discord server, but I am thrilled that they are now on PDX Mods. The pack is massive and contains so many stunning, realistic decals, many of which are perfect for a grungy industrial area. In this case, they are perfect for creating the entrances to our factories. For the next driveway, let's try a different surface from Ogendo's More Concrete Pack, just so we can see some of the variety. I recommend playing around with various options to see what goes with the vibe of your build. For this next building, we will use item 24 on my favorites list, Sully's Concrete Tiles Surface Pack. These surfaces are incredibly versatile and work well in commercial, residential, and industrial parts of your town. We are just getting started with detailing this industrial area, but you can already see the numerous options we have for concrete and pavement. To make things look more defined, we'll use another edge net lane from Crypto Gamer, outlining the driveways and dividing the sidewalk from the port. This is such a tiny detail, but it can make a huge difference if you have the patience. Now, let's enhance these driveways and the road. We previously used Sully's tire marks, which makes sense here given all the trucks that would be moving in and out. A combination of darker and lighter tire marks adds some variety. Adding storm grates by Crypto Gamer is another tiny but impactful detail. Item number 25 on my favorites list is the Stains and Puddles Decals Wet Pack by Ogendo. Item 26 is Sully's Stains and Leakage Decal Pack. Together, these two sets of decals give you a ton of options to show the wear and tear on your city. Ogendo's oil stains and puddle drips look so appropriate in an industrial section. Sully's stains look like dirt and industrial grit has accumulated. I try to mix these up in various places. For oil spills, I try to imagine where large trucks might have been sitting when they were leaking. Sully's leaks and stains are some of my all-time favorites. They are perfect to place around buildings or other assets where water might have run off and left behind remnants. We can return to the Real Vision textures for further enhancements, such as layering them under and around a factory. This one makes it appear as though the slab on which the building sits is beginning to crumble. Let's add some of Sully's asphalt patches and some of Ogendo's road repairs. Remember, industrial trucks are heavy, and the roads they use regularly will take a beating. The cracks across the road or in the parking pads look fantastic. We'll place a few more Sully's stained decals and some tire marks to show where some trucks have turned around. To add character, let's place some yellow no parking decals that come with the extra detailing tools. This helps freight trucks better navigate the area and designate places for loading and unloading. While we are mainly focusing on decals, surfaces, and net lanes, adding a few props like stacked containers will boost the industrial vibe. Really, the entire point is to tell a story with the detailing, to create layers of history, to give the area a style that is distinctive, and to make it aesthetically pleasing. Even a rundown cargo harbor or set of factories can be beautiful. Decals can also add unique touches to an area, such as those in item 27 on my list, Sully's pack of Modders Graffiti decals. Let's give a shout out to Yin Yang and TDW for their incredible mods. Elgindo87 provides number 28 on my favorites list, his street art decals. A shout out to Elgindo for everything he's provided for this episode. We can also add some fun Colossal Order graffiti using number 29 on our list, Sully's Extra Graffiti Detail Pack. Finally, let's add from Tygon's Extra Team Graffiti Pack, number 30 on our list. We'll make a shout out to Sully here with the graffiti. Each of these details contributes to the design of our industrial area. The decals, textures, and net lanes help us capture the rawness of our industry and make it distinct from residential, office, and commercial zones. We can create spills and leaks from the machinery, trucks, and production processes. The work in our intermodal port will release oil, grease, chemicals, and other substances that soak into the soil. We will find solid waste such as scrap material, metal shavings, plastics, sawdust, which has been discarded or blown onto the ground. Over time, you will see the accumulation of dust and particulates from cement plants, coal yards, and metalworks. Each of these generates airborne dust that settles on soil and pavement. By using our various surfaces and decals for these industrial buildings, we have developed a distinct range of manufacturing plants and warehouses, each with its own negative impact on the environment. These factories will service heavy vehicle traffic, such as trucks and forklifts, which will deposit oil, rubber, particles from tires, and exhaust residue. Every time they load or unload, materials may spill, and they add to the road wear, creating asphalt erosion and grime. Let's create a bit of green in the middle of all the concrete, using pack number 31 on my favorites list, the Vanilla Curb Net Lanes and Decals from Elgindo87. These allow us to mimic the base game curb and create defined areas, much as we have been doing with the edges from Crypto Gamer. The little corner pieces are the perfect detail. We can layer in Sully's riverbed surface and then add a few plants. Somehow, they've survived in the midst of all this industrial degradation. In making some of these updates, I accidentally deleted the entire pavement surface under the train depot and industrial area. What I dislike is the way the clean base game sidewalks stand out from the surrounding dirty pavement we've created. We can use Elgindo's Vanilla Asphalt Net Lane that goes under the markings in order to change the color easily. We'll add some more trucks in this open spot so they can wait for their cargo. Let's adjust the pavement surface around them and then add layers of dirt with Sully's riverbed textures. Finally, we can place an industrial fence from the extra detailing tools around the lot. I love this method of intentionally focusing on the details in our intermodal facility. We are assigning purpose to each decal, net lane, and surface we place to create a clear picture of what these buildings do. Of course, in the end, we still might want to grunge it up with randomly placed stains, but this will be the last step after all the other careful placement. There are a few more packs that made my favorites list this year. Let's cover them briefly. In episode 17, we built this former industrial area, which had undergone urban renewal and gentrification. We used lots of surfaces here, but let's fill in a few more spots. Favorite set number 32 is Old Cities Netlanes Pack 2 by Razira. I love these old cobblestones. For this gentrifying neighborhood, perhaps they were exposed when an older building was torn down, and now they have been refurbished and decorated to attract high-tech workers. There are several terrific variations in this set that are all worth checking out. Set number 33 on my favorites list is also by Razira and related. It's the Old Cities Netlanes Pack 1. Again, there are several beautiful textures in these net lanes that are perfect for weathered sidewalks, roads, or decaying parts of town. Favorite set number 34 is the Walkways and Paths Net Lanes from Crypto Gamer. This pack has many options to choose from, with varying widths and textures, more than we can cover here. For now, let's choose one of the small sidewalks to cover our pedestrian path. We'll select a different one for the path behind our welfare center, and then select a third option for the path behind our Old Town Brewery. Crypto Gamer's set can be transformative given the variety of options. We're so close to reaching the end, so stay with me. Let's take a look at Sully's golden sand beaches that come with both surfaces and decals. These come in shades from light to dark and are meant to be layered on top of one another, creating the effect of moving from wet sand close to the water up to the dry sand further away. I like to zigzag the lines a bit in order to avoid any straight lines that look unnatural. After finishing the sand, we can apply layers of thin grass up to thick grass, giving the impression that we are moving away from the beach. This is where the decals come in. Sully's set comes with a variety of sand decals that can be layered over the distinct lines, helping to blur everything together. The final step in this process are Sully's Seafoam decals, set number 36 on the list, the last for today. I just love the way the beach changes into something alive that feels like it has movement once you place these down. These 36 asset packs represent hundreds of different surfaces, decals, and net lanes. Applying them is easy and lets you run wild with your creativity. The modders in the Cities Skylines 2 community are truly outstanding and bring so much to enrich the game. I'm sure I have missed many others. As I said, I've just touched on some of my favorites, but if I've missed any of your favorites, please let me know in the comments. And be sure to give the video a like and subscribe.